My Kashmiri name is Zuni. It was given to me by a holy man in Bemina who foresaw that I would be helping a lot of people. I was really surprised to see what happened with the video I made, Will You Hear the Cries of the Kashmiri People, and how much attention it received around the world. I was very surprised to see so many news reports with my face and my message. And I'm glad for this because the international community needs to pay attention to what is happening in Kashmir, because this cannot continue. The children and the people cannot continue to suffer like this. I would go before the United Nations myself if I could, and I would ask them to fulfill the promise they made in 1948 with UN Resolution number 47 that promised the Kashmiri people the right of self-determination and a public vote to decide what would happen to them if they would join with Pakistan or join with India or become independent. I believe now is the time to fulfill that promise to the Kashmiri people. And I ask the international community to turn their hearts and their eyes to what's happening in Kashmir, because Kashmiri lives matter. I've been criticized for speaking about this. People saying, well, why don't you talk about what your country's doing in Syria? Why don't you talk about what's happening in your country with Black Lives Matter? Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about this? It's true. There are very many there are many crimes against humanity happening in the world right now. And I'm speaking about this one because Kashmir is in my heart. Kashmir is in my heart. The Kashmiri people are in my heart. And that's why I speak about this. Because how many days can I speak with the people that I love and care about and hear about the injustices they're suffering and say nothing? I don't do this for attention. No, God. I do this because my soul cannot remain quiet while I hear of the suffering of these people, of the Kashmiri people. And you know what? And it's not getting better. You know, what's happened since my last video is that the Indian military has started doing a lot of night raids. They're going into the Kashmiri people's homes at night while they sleep and arresting their boys, arresting the sons and the brothers, and taking them to jails. From Delhi to Calcutta, the Indian jails are filling up with Kashmiri boys. And this is not okay. This cannot be allowed to continue. So what do I think needs to happen? First and foremost, the children need to be released from jails. The use of pellet guns needs to stop. We need to stop seeing pictures of children being shot in the eyes and blinded with pellet guns by the Indian military. The Indian military themselves need to be taken out of the cities in Kashmir and put them at the border side. Put them at the border of Pakistan. Reduce the number of troops there. And I personally truly believe that the resources that are being used to maintain the Indian military occupation of Kashmir, those resources should be redirected to where they are better needed, like to the Swachh Bharat campaign, to clean up India. I believe in peace, and I believe peace is possible. I believe peace is possible for the Kashmiri people, and I stand with them, and I call out to the international community to pay attention to what's happening, and I ask the UN to fulfill the promise they made to the Kashmiri people in 1948 and guarantee their right for self-determination. I believe that more violence is not the answer. More pressure in this way is not the answer. It's not going to magically change the hearts of the Kashmiri people. No, the only thing that is going to shift the hearts and the minds of Kashmiri people is love, is gestures of love. The Kashmiri people need love more than anything else. They need love and freedom They need access to food, to medicine, to basic human rights, because right now they're being denied that. As long as the Indian army is occupying the streets of Kashmir, the Kashmiri people will continue to suffer. So the ultimate goal, is to remove the Indian military and work together towards achieving peace and fulfilling the promise to the Kashmiri people for their right for self-determination. Guys, I feel a lot of pressure making this video. I feel the weight of the criticisms I'm receiving, but I also feel the hope of the people on whose behalf I'm speaking. I was talking with my friend the other day, Danny, and he was saying he's not a God-fearing man, but he said, it's very interesting. If you think about the story of Jesus, the prophet Jesus, right? God put this message into this man, but God could have chosen anyone. Why didn't he choose a king? Why didn't he choose someone of more power and influence? But no, God chose to put this message in a poor boy who was born in a manger. Messengers of peace historically come up against great resistance. And this I accept and I acknowledge, because I don't share this message because I'm gaining something. No. Aside from love from Kashmiri people who are suffering, I share this message because it's been put in my heart, and to not speak it would be to deny the truth from within. So I stand with the Kashmiri people, and I believe that peace is possible. I believe that we can see a new era of prosperity, of commerce, of tourism, of hope, of rebirth for Kashmir and for India. I believe in possibilities that are positive. I believe in progress. I believe that when we work together, we can end this violence, but it will start with a choice. A choice to work towards peace, not just to perpetuate this situation as it is now. If we keep doing the same things, we're going to keep getting the same results. So now it's time for a shift. It's time for a shift, and each one of us plays a role. To my brothers in India, I ask you, meet a Kashmiri person heart to heart. Don't just listen to the news. Don't just listen to the media. The media is controlled by certain powers that want to maintain control, and they control through fear. So as long as you're just listening to the media, it's going to perpetuate these beliefs that are inciting the separation between brothers. So what I ask my Indian brothers to do is to make an effort to speak to Kashmiris. If you see them in your city, if you see them where you live, if you see them, speak with them and ask them what's happening. Ask them, listen to them. That's really the key, my friends. Now, we don't need more violence and oppression. We need listening. We need to work towards achieving a new understanding between one another. Because as long as we're casting each other as terrorists, oh, the Indian terrorists, oh, the Kashmiri terrorists, as long as we're using those words and those labels, there's always going to be a separation. I believe that we should call one another brothers. Every man is my brother. Because we're all human beings. And we all have love in our hearts. And we all want to make progress. And we all want our children to be happy. We all want freedom and the right to exercise our very human right to choose, to exercise free will. We all want this. This is not a special plight. This is a human plight. This is a human situation. This is a question of humanity, and I am speaking out in the name of humanity and peace and progress and welcoming in a new era for Kashmir, for the world. Why not? This is a time of transition. This is a time where we are challenged, and the challenge shows us how strong we are. So, what's my point? My point is, let's just stand with the Kashmiri people and support their right for self-determination and to choose and to welcome in a new era of peace, because why not? Do you really want more violence? Do you really want more of the same? More of the same will cause more children to suffer, more families to weep, and more violence to be incited on both sides. I believe now is the time to try something different. The international community needs to be involved and needs to turn their hearts and eyes to the situation in Kashmir. And it's time for the United Nations to fulfill Resolution number 47 to help the people of Kashmir determine their future. I believe this is possible. I believe peace is possible. And I stand with the people of Kashmir. And I support peace, self-determination, and progress. Thank you for listening. I give thanks for these blue eyes and this blonde hair, because it's getting attention. It's getting attention, and that's good. That's good. So, all I am saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Peace, brothers.